I want to start off by telling you that actually I'm very nervous right now about this address, and it's not because I am afraid of public speaking. It's because it really has to do with the challenge of how I'm going to get all the great things that have happened in Broken Arrow this past year down to 50 minutes. So many exciting things have happened within our community that I've been real nervous about how I pare everything down. So here's to hoping that I can keep it to 50 minutes and unlike our president, try not to go off script too many times because I've tried to put it all in here. Honestly, you actually don't have to look any further than around this room to realize the state of our city is strong. It's the people in this room who are out in the community every day making our city great. Statistically and by reputation, Broken Arrow is a place where people are coming to and not going from. Our city is truly a special place, and all of us who call it home or have a business here understand that. Here's another quick fact for you. The current population of Broken Arrow is now 112,000. That's right, our 58 square mile city has grown by nearly 30,000 people in the last 15 years. We're definitely a growing city that's doing all the right things to retain the families and businesses that are here. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Broken Arrow City Council, I'd like to welcome you to the annual State of the City Address. It's an honor to speak to you today about the state of our city. I'm thrilled to see everyone here, and before we begin the address, let me reiterate what Wes said, is we have so many individuals from the different public and private organizations. We also have elected officials here, and we'd like to thank all of you for making time to be here for this presentation. I also see individuals from the various city sponsor boards and companies that we have working partnerships. We've done a lot together this year, and the council and I are very grateful for the cooperation and your ongoing support of everything we do together. Additionally, a huge thank you to the chamber members that are here today. We appreciate what each of you contribute to the local economy, and we also appreciate what you do to improve the quality of life in our city. I'd also like to take this opportunity to send a shout out to all the department directors and senior staff that are here, led by Assistant City Managers Russell Gale and Kenny Schwab. Each one of these servant leaders is working hard for our community, and I'd like to say publicly thank you to everything that they do for our city. Also, a quick shout out to Jennifer and to TJ Gerlach for their help with the address today. And finally, let me thank Wes and the Chamber of Commerce and the sponsors. Obviously, it takes sponsors in order to make events like this go off, and we truly appreciate everyone that has contributed to this event and everything that happens throughout the year. Regarding the format for today, in addition to the traditional speech, I've mixed in some visual aids to keep things moving. By way of videos, you're going to hear directly from our mayor and council members with their thoughts on the state of our city and also some things they think are important about local government. So, keeping in the tradition of Broken Arrow's BA in 60 seconds, let's start the address with a short video. Before we do, though, a quick footnote. One of our accomplishments this year was the completion of what is known as a tourism asset inventory. The consultant we hired recommended increasing our direct marketing investments in an effort to promote travel and tourism in our community. What you're about to see is the second of a three-part series that we've created for marketing and promotional purposes. At this time, let's take a look at the video.
What is home? The town, the building, 4 walls. Or maybe it's where you got started, where your identity was formed, where you became who you are today. No, that's not it. Home isn't just where you grew up. Home is your family. It's your friendships, your romance, the place where you achieve your dreams. Not just dreams of success, but dreams of hope, love, meaning. It's where you're surrounded by people who lift you up, challenge you, and sometimes even change your life. See, home isn't the place where you were born. Home is the place you belong. Welcome home.
Well, that's pretty cool, huh? Every time I see that video, I get both thrilled and humbled over what an awesome place that we call home. If I could sum up 2017 as just a single statement, it would be working together to shape our city's future. Over the years, experience has taught me that no one individual or entity can make a city great or successful. It takes alliances of all of us working together for the good. Finding these common threads that bind us together is what we do in Broken Arrow. Today, you will hear me talk a lot about the city's partners. I'll highlight a few of our collaborations and how important each of these partners are for the community's short-term and long-term success. We were excited to learn last October that USA Today named the city of Broken Arrow as one of the most livable cities in America. The list included Broken Arrow at 29th and our friends to the west in Edmond at 35th. Again, this designation is only possible because of everyone working together. Each of our public sector entities working to fulfill their particular missions, coupled with an earnest pursuit on the city's part to create a positive environment for private sector investment. One of the main components of this prestigious designation is our commitment to public safety. Broken Arrow is frequently recognized as one of the safest communities in Oklahoma and the region, and that's not by accident. The city identifies crime prevention and public safety as an important quality of life issue. As such, we have made substantial investments financially, politically, and leadership-wise to ensure our city remains a safe place for people to live, work, and play. Last January, the Vision 2025 sales tax repurposing, approved by Broken Arrow voters back in November 2015, went into effect. The additional resources will fund 20 new police officers, 20 new firefighters, and provide approximately $3 million annually for street and road maintenance. Also noteworthy this year is the fact that we added a full-time emergency management coordinator to the police department. We all know that emergencies can happen anywhere and anytime. This new and critical position will help coordinate our response to any natural or man-made disaster that may occur within our community. I'd be remiss if I did not point out how fortunate we are to have Fire Chief Jeremy Moore, newly appointed Chief of Police Brandon Berryhill, and Emergency Management Coordinator Jamie Ott serving at the helm of these key leadership positions. Jamie actually was called by FEMA to help with the disasters both in Texas and Florida this year. So that gives you an idea of the type of quality individual we've hired for that important position. Today's address is going to focus on the following things. First, it's just going to be a short review of 2017. You're going to hear from all of your council members on the state of the city in their words. I'll mention future opportunities and challenges, and then we're going to have our fire chief come forward and we're going to hear about the partnership we have with St. Francis South, and we're going to roll out our new Pulse Point app. Let's continue the video segment and hear from Broken Arrow Mayor Craig Thurman.
Hello, I'm Craig Thurman, Broken Arrow Mayor. I'm honored to have served on the Broken Arrow City Council for 16 years. I'm excited to talk to you about all the great things that have happened in Broken Arrow over the years. One of the things that we're really proud of is the fact that USA Today named us the 29th most livable city in the United States out of 18,000 cities. We're really happy and impressed with that. We have great education in Broken Arrow, great school systems. All three of our school systems are outstanding. We have a thriving downtown. What we've done with the Rose District is really special. When you start looking at where we were just 6 years ago with nothing, a very dead downtown, turned into a very vibrant downtown. It's exciting with the future investment that's talked about in downtown and what we're going to do. It's just a great gathering place for our citizens. We're very excited about job growth, something that years ago we did not talk about job growth. We were happy to be a bedroom community, but now we're a thriving workplace and a destination workplace for many people in the metro area and also throughout the state. So Alfa Laval was something that was very important. The expansion of Alfa Laval, we have a Swedish company that's in 45 different countries, and they looked at 5 states to expand in, and they chose Broken Arrow as the place they want to be. So we're very excited with their expansion, their investment in our community. As far as what's important for increasing economic development, there's a lot of factors that go into that. A lot of it is the public-private partnerships that we've done over the years to increase development. Also, we need the growth. We need the jobs, we need the daytime population, we need the growth of our citizens, the fact that we've grown by approximately 7,000 citizens in the last 3 years. That helps economic development in our community. So not only is economic development important to keep our community going, it's very important so that the citizens have services, places that they can recreate, services they need, retail that they need, and grocery shopping, those kind of things, and restaurants. That's very important. Well, we're really excited about Stoney Creek Conference Center. It's something we've worked on for a very long time, and it brings people to Broken Arrow so they can see what a great community we have. And this is a very outstanding project. When we start looking at the lodge here and what it reminds me of a Colorado resort lodge, and right here in our community. So it brings tourism dollars to our community. It's something very special and everyone should be proud of. All citizens should come and check it out and see what Stoney Creek is all about. As you can see, Broken Arrow is a community on the move. It's a very exciting time when we look at all the great things that are happening in our community. And as we all work together and all the citizens work together, we can create a place that we'll be very proud of to call home.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate you doing that video for us. You heard Mayor Thurman highlight the importance of economic development. Let's drill down in some of our successes this year. First, I want to mention that we consider economic development, retention, recruitment, and attraction activities an ongoing effort. We never stop trying to maintain and grow our economy. Working together, the city and the EDC are implementing strategies that are transforming our local economy into one that is well-rooted in quality jobs and innovation. This year, nearly 1,000 new jobs have been created in our city. Well over 600 of those new jobs are in the manufacturing and high-tech sectors. That's right, over 1,000 new jobs. That's simply awesome, folks. As noted on the slide behind me, we saw expansions of several small to mid-sized companies in our city. These additional high-paying jobs will help grow and support our thriving economy. We also saw FedEx come online last August. The new facility, located off of East Houston Street near County Line Road, employs more than 100 people. With the proposed expansion of Alpha Laval and the opening of FedEx, it has brought to light another area of our community that we believed is primed for future growth. Also noteworthy is the fact that we saw over 20 significant retail commercial openings in 2017. The openings of these businesses resulted in the creation of over 200 new jobs. Likewise, we continue to see excellent growth in the housing construction. Broken Arrow leads the metro in new housing starts. Based on our estimates, we will see right at 500 new single-family homes this year. We are projecting a similar amount of growth in the next 3 years. Because of the growth we experienced in 2016, property values rose by approximately 5.5%. Subsequently, the city's assessed value has reached $875 million. I'd like to point out the three most significant private sector investments this year. First, as the mayor mentioned, Alpha Laval. This will be a direct foreign investment consisting of 2 phases that will create over 260 new jobs and result in a $23 million capital investment. The city contributed approximately $600,000 towards construction of a new road for the development and the installation of some public utility infrastructure. Second, we have Dover Artificial Lift. Dover currently has 75 employees with a plan for 100 additional employees. Their $23 million expansion will result in a corporate headquarter facility for advanced manufacturing and a state-of-the-art research and development capabilities. And finally, the Milestone Cowan project. This mixed-use development will add $18 million worth of private investment to our Rose District. The project will bring approximately 32,000 square feet of retail commercial space and nearly 90 high-end apartments to our downtown. It is anticipated the construction of the mixed-use project will start in the early summer of 2018. These 3 projects alone bring $66 million worth of new investment to our city. I believe that we can all agree that's absolutely phenomenal. So let me point out that counting Milestone's project, in the last 5 years, there has been nearly $50 million worth of private investment in the city's central core. This is the point when I get to recognize Norm Stevens, Kenny Tilley, and Cody Mosley for their outstanding efforts this year. Thank you for a job well done. I'd like to give them a round of applause. An important component of economic development is travel and tourism. As mentioned earlier, in an effort to enhance our tourism industry, we completed a tourism assessment and asset inventory. The recommendations received are currently being implemented by our Convention and Visitors Bureau with the overall goal of increasing hotel occupancy and more visitors to our city. Accomplishing these goals will stimulate the local economy and support the investments made by our hotel owners and local businesses. We plan to increase visitorship at our traditional events and also by bringing more patrons to events like Cox Communications Community Concert and the Ruts and Guts Cyclocross. Last September, over 12,000 patrons attended the second annual Cox concert held at the Broken Arrow Events Park. On a personal note, it's a pleasure to work with Roger Ramsauer and Tiffany Bruton, and we're looking forward to continuing the concert as well as working with them on many other partnerships in the future. We also have one of the top 10 sports facilities in Oklahoma, Indian Springs Sports Complex. The credit for having such a great facility goes to our Parks and Recreation Director, Scott Esmond, and his team for maintaining such an outstanding parks and recreation system. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate your help. Another one of our goals is to parlay our great facilities into attracting more tournaments to our city. Speaking of visitors, 2 months ago, Stoney Creek Hotel and Conference Center opened for business, and we held the grand opening celebration earlier this month. This project is a public-private partnership between the city and Stoney Creek, totaling a combined $30 million. Now, associations, companies, and individuals seeking a location for conferences, meetings, trade shows, receptions, and more will find Stoney Creek an awesome venue for these events. The opening of the conference center will also spur redevelopment and new development in the area we're now calling the Stoney Creek Hospitality District. As with all great cities, we must maintain a vibrant and healthy downtown. This is one of the keys to having a strong community. Our concentrated efforts to revitalize the Rose District continue to gain momentum. With the announcement of the Milestone Cowan project in partnership with the developer, the City Council has agreed that we will extend the streetscape infrastructure one more block to the north. Staying in our downtown, earlier this month, the City Council unanimously approved an ordinance creating a new downtown housing overlay district. We had great participation for both the public and private stakeholders on this initiative. We believe the new overlay district will provide the private sector with a workable set of guidelines that will promote the residential development and redevelopment in the Rose District. Despite all of our economic successes, however, this year wasn't without its controversy. We all know that the north side of our city has exploded with commercial and retail growth over the last decade. However, residents have pointed out in the south part of our city haven't seen the same similar pace of growth. To address residents' concern, last August the council held a public forum on economic development in South Broken Arrow. The special meeting updated the community on the city's investments in the area and our recruitment efforts. Specifically, we sketched out that what we're hearing from site selectors concerning the need for both higher traffic counts and more rooftops around the Creek Turnpike. We also heard that the close proximity of existing competition is a major challenge. The good news is this: the city has made a major investment in public infrastructure, around $20 million, which is priming the area for growth. Furthermore, and for the first time ever, the city anticipated this impending growth. Many times it's the other way around. We're confident that we will reap the rewards of investments in the forms of new commercial and retail and businesses in the not too distant future. At this time, I'd like to take a short break and let you hear from Vice Mayor Scott Udy and Councilman Mike Lester.
Hello, I'm Scott Udy. I'm the Vice Mayor of Broken Arrow, and I also have the privilege of representing Ward 4 in our fine city. Today we are in the Rose District in Broken Arrow, and I look around me. I have worked in the Rose District for nearly 20 years and have been a part of this amazing downtown for all that time. But in the last 5 years or so, we have seen a remarkable change. We have seen new streetscape and new restaurants coming in and people excited to be downtown, a vibrant, active community that we now have. And it's not stopping. We have a $18 million project coming. It will be 4 stories containing both residential and business. I'm very excited about that. And we have so many wonderful things happening. This time of year you can wander down and enjoy the ice rink in Farmers Market, and you just see so much going on in downtown. But not just downtown, all around our city you're seeing wonderful economic development and opportunities for our citizens and our visitors to have a wonderful experience in living, playing, and working in our community. And in the Rose District, right on the south end of the Rose District, we have the Senior Center. It's sort of the capstone piece of our Rose District as we're developing down south. And it allows us to incorporate our senior citizens into what's going on in downtown Broken Arrow. The Senior Center is an integral part of the Broken Arrow community because it gives those who are 55 years old and older an opportunity to get together, talk about the things going on in their lives, sharing with people of like age and of like interest, but it also allows them to stay active, to develop healthy lifestyles, to have things that they get to do, and they get to invite the younger crowd sometimes and get to show off a lot of the things they do, but they do art projects. They do activities. You can even find them playing the ukulele if you go at the right time. It is a wonderful, vibrant place, and Broken Arrow is very blessed to have it. And it's just one more way we try to meet the needs of all of our citizens of all ages, and we have an outstanding senior citizen and senior center. So as you can see, hopefully, there are many amazing things going on in Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow is a vibrant community, growing, thriving, expanding, and becoming a true star, a true gem in the Oklahoma landscape. And I hope you've enjoyed getting to share a little bit of that with me today.
I'm Mike Lester, Broken Arrow City Councilman. We're at a pivotal time in Broken Arrow's history. We are approximately 112,000 residents now, and only 30 short years ago we were half that population. At the rate we're growing, there are some key investments that we're going to have to make within the city. We have a GO bond coming up in 2018, and I'd like to give you some key projects that are coming up within that bond proposal. In streets, we're going to be continuing the expansion from 3 to 5 lanes of Washington from Olive to Aspen. Also, we're going to be expanding Houston from 3 to 5 lanes from Garnett to Olive and Olive to Aspen. And also within this bond proposal, as we have in other bond projects, the rehabilitation of neighborhood streets throughout Broken Arrow. In stormwater, we are proposing to develop a regional stormwater detention area in the Stone Ridge area of 61st and Elm Place, not only to take care of the needs currently, but help to develop economic development in that area in the years to come. As far as the infrastructure, the city is really growing at a rapid pace, so we find that there's continuing need to provide those services that our citizens have come to expect from the city, whether that be in our roads, whether it be in our refuge service, or whether it be like we did several years ago in expanding our water treatment plant and providing quality water, not only for today, but years into the future. Public safety is the #1 priority of this city council. Broken Arrow has not been named the safest city in this region of the country without having the quality men and women of both the police department and the fire and EMS. And it's incumbent on us as a city council and as citizens of Broken Arrow to provide them the tools that they need to do their job. To that end, in this bond proposal, we are proposing for 2 new fire stations, one in the southeast quadrant of the city and one that would replace Station 1. We also have equipment and vehicles for both the police department and the fire department. Also a part of this bond proposal would be the replacement of all 33 storm sirens across this city. As I mentioned before, there are many projects on the 2018 bond proposal, some of which I mentioned, but many others not mentioned. They will all shape the future of Broken Arrow. We certainly look forward to the assistance of the citizens of Broken Arrow to help shape this bond proposal. We need your help today, and we need your help tomorrow.
Vice Mayor, Councilman, thank you very much for your comments. As you heard from Councilman Lester, your support is vital to the continued success of our community. I'm going to talk about the upcoming bond package as mentioned and the recent citizen survey we conducted as a part of my address. But first I want to share with you some additional highlights on what the City Council, administration, and staff accomplished in 2017. First off, my friends, this is my 3rd State of the City address, and I'm very happy to report to you that the current state of our local government is strong. More specifically, I believe that we are operationally responsive and resilient. The council and staff strive every day to maximize transparency in everything that we do. We pride ourselves on providing the effective and efficient delivery of public services to our citizens. The City Council and every department are working together to offer the best quality of life and environment for our community. We also recognize that our services have a direct impact on residents, visitors, and those that choose to do business with us. We want to make sure these recipients see and receive value in these services. With regard to finances, I'm pleased to tell you that the city is holding its own financially. Sales tax this year is right at projections, while other revenues are currently at above estimates. We have an excellent bond and credit ratings and currently have in place adequate reserves for the unexpected circumstances that could face our city. The community should rest assured that we continually analyze the cost of service to ensure that we remain as lean as possible yet have the adequate resources to meet the people's needs. Nevertheless, I'd be lax if I did not point out that the current state model used to fund local government is antiquated and presents significant challenges to all Oklahoma cities. As a growing city, ensuring we have adequate resources to sustain operations is very important. This is why we will continue to work with the Chamber of Commerce and the community to promote shopping local. And finally, we make it a priority to work closely with our partners to keep our city strong. Speaking of our partners, speaking of our partners, as I mentioned earlier, I believe one of the founding principles of our city's success is because of the great working relationships the city has with various organizations in the community. These relationships are built on a foundation of mutual trust and respect for the other's unique roles and responsibilities. We're very fortunate to have strong and compassionate leaders like Dr. Janet Dunlop, Dr. Steve Tiger, and Dr. Roy Woods. I know that each of these leaders and their teams are doing great work in their respective organizations and for our community, and for that I thank you very much. I would specifically like to note the partnership that we have with Tulsa Tech in the area of workforce development. In addition to their help with economic development recruitment, this year we entered into an agreement with TCC to help the city with an on-job training program for our labor and trade positions within the organization. This new program will help improve the proficiency of current and future employees that work for the city. I'd also like to mention one of my guests today, Dr. Craig Brown, who is the director of the Fire and Emergency Medical Service Program at Tulsa Community College, as well as a retired Tulsa District Fire Chief. Dr. Brown worked closely with Fire Chief Jeremy Moore to help establish our new Fire Academy internship program. The joint TCC and Broken Arrow Fire Department internship program is an opportunity for aspiring firefighters to obtain the training necessary to become a firefighter while earning college credit. This partnership is the first of the kind in the state and is a tremendous opportunity for college students. Likewise, this gives our fire department the ability to observe fire candidates for employment for approximately 6 months. And when they are successfully hired, we know that they are well trained and we will have saved $14,000 in salary and benefits. For the students not immediately hired by the City of Broken Arrow, other departments around the region can hire these fully trained individuals, which means those fire departments also have enormous savings in training expenses. This partnership is a win-win for the students, TCC, the city, and the Regional Fire Service. I just want to thank Dr. Brown for his support. I'll finish this section of my address up by pointing out the great working relationship that the city has with the Chamber and the EDC. It's a pleasure working for Wes and his team every single day, and we do talk every single day. Along those same lines, I'd like to acknowledge the efforts of this year's Chamber and EDC Chairman, Eric Keymeyer and Ted Cundiff. Both did yeoman's work in helping their organizations move forward, and I want to publicly thank them for their leadership and commitment to our community. Thank you, gentlemen. Moving on, we recently conducted a survey of the citizens asking for their opinion on 3 things. How are we doing? What are the city's priorities? And what projects or initiatives they'd like to see in the upcoming general obligation bond package? I'm pleased to report that we had over 2,700 respondents to the survey. We were only expecting about 500, so we had a great response. The council will discuss the full report at their December 19th meeting. Notwithstanding, I'd like to share with you some of the great data in the survey. Just 5 quick points here. First, right at 95% of the respondents have an overall positive feeling about our great city. Secondly, 98% of the respondents believe Broken Arrow is an excellent place to raise a family. The survey also revealed that the community is very satisfied with Broken Arrow City services. Fourth, about 92% of the respondents either strongly or somewhat agree that the city is moving in the right direction. And finally, 89% of those that completed the survey believe that our mayor and council are doing a great job. The top 2 major priority concerns that were noted by respondents were transportation and infrastructure. I think we can all agree with that. Traffic flow and street maintenance are areas that definitely need improved. The good news is the community supports these initiatives and is willing to support it at the polls. We plan to address these concerns in next year's bond package. Once again, the full report will be available on our website after the December 19th meeting. Now, pivoting to city leadership, in order to move a community forward, the city needs elected officials that have the vision, energy, and a willingness to take responsibility for the well-being and improvement of the community. Broken Arrow is very fortunate to have a history of such leadership on the City Council, and now is no exception. Last April, we had 2 council seats up for election. Craig Thurman was re-elected to Ward 2, and Deborah Wimpy joined the governing body being elected in Ward 1. In addition to Craig Thurman serving as mayor, Scott Udi was elected our vice mayor. At this time, I'd like to mention, joining us today, we have Richard Carter. I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank you, Richard, for his nearly 25 years of public service to the Broken Arrow community. Richard served as councilman, vice mayor, and mayor of our city. While in office, Richard worked tirelessly to make the government and the community better, and his positive impact will be felt and remembered for many years to come. Thank you, Richard. We also have a new chief of police, Brandon Berryhill, and we are in the process of recruiting for a new finance director as a result of the passing of longtime director Tom Caldwell. To ensure continuity in local government leadership, I started an internal Future Leaders Initiative, appropriately called COBA-U, which stands for City of Broken Arrow University. This program will help our organization with succession planning by identifying and developing employees who aspire to leadership positions. I'd like to thank the city's HR director, Jeanette McCormick, and city attorney, Beth Ann Childs, for spearheading this important initiative for our organization. The city also tries to ensure that our members of senior leadership participate in the Chamber's Leadership Broken Arrow program. This exposure to community networking and engagement is an important first step for long-term collaboration amongst the city and future community leaders. At this time, I'd like to talk just a little bit about our community initiatives. The city of Broken Arrow is now a Purple Heart city. We have a long history of supporting our veterans and their important issues. Last August, we became the first Purple Heart city in Northeast Oklahoma. I'd like to recognize another one of my guests today. That's Army veteran and Purple Heart recipient Mitch Reed. Mitch was instrumental in helping the city secure this prestigious designation, and I'd like to express my appreciation to him for his stewardship. Thank you for your service, your sacrifice, and help, Mitch. I'm truly proud to call you friend. Next, with the support of the city's various veterans organizations, we will be relocating our Vietnam War Memorial, currently located in Central Park, to Veterans Memorial Park. The rededication of the memorial will be held next spring. As you will hear from Councilmember Wimpy in her upcoming video, in the next general bond obligation package, the City Council has committed to asking the voters for funds to build a Veterans Center. The proposed center would be located near Veterans Park and provide our multiple veterans organizations with a home to gather and work on important issues for those that have served this great nation. And finally, in public parks initiatives led by Councilman Lester, along with the support of the City Council, the city will convert the former Bever property into a small community park. This initiative will help this portion of our community heal from the 2015 tragedy and add another quality recreation area to our parks inventory for all of us to use. Thank you. The park will be built with a combination. The good thing is it was city and private donations and should be under construction late this spring. And now let's go green for just a few minutes and talk about sustainability. One of my personal goals for Broken Arrow is for it to become super sustainable so we can improve our community's green score, help save our environment, and attract more business to our city. We took the first step in late 2016 when we stopped taking our trash to the landfill and began using Covanta's waste-to-energy plant in West Tulsa. The city's General Services Director, Lee Zirk, and Matt Newman of Covanta were instrumental in getting this important change done for our community. Also in late 2016, a citizens committee was formed to study the various options for implementing a residential curbside collection program. The committee recommended 2 pilot programs. The City Council has accepted the committee's recommendation, and early next year, the administration will begin to implement those 2 pilot programs. Obviously, any change in the current system will be somewhat controversial because I think we all can agree Broken Arrow has an outstanding trash collection system. However, we're committed to working with residents on the pilot programs to obtain the necessary feedback and data to make an informed, long-term decision for our community. Turning quickly to city operations, we spent a great deal of time planning our work for this year. Back in June, the City Council adopted a fiscal year budget that totaled just under $250 million. We have almost a $250 million budget of all funds. The largest expenditures in the budget continue to be for public safety, utility department operations, and public infrastructure improvements. The last couple of years, the city has placed a major emphasis on communications. Trust me when I say it's not easy to communicate with 112,000 residents, but based on the feedback we're receiving, I think we're reaching a lot of folks. We realize that information is the key to our success and have implemented a number of new initiatives to disseminate information and improve community engagement. To ensure transparency, the city prepared its annual report last January, And in September, we distributed our second annual edition of the Thrive Your Money at Work newsletter. The Thrive edition focuses on the city's finances, taxes, utility costs, and approved public projects. I believe you can find a copy of the Thrive in your bag that was left on the table today. In the area of public safety, we now have hired all 20 firefighters and added a 7th ambulance when personnel are available. Likewise, by the end of the fiscal year, next June, we will have 10 new additional police officers, all possible because of the Repurposed Vision Fund approved back in 2015. And now something very near to my heart, and that is public infrastructure improvements. This year has been a banner year for infrastructure projects in our community. Our records show that in this fiscal year, we have right at $83 million worth of quality of life, street maintenance, and public utility department improvements somewhere in the construction life cycle. I'd like to recognize Engineering Construction Director Alex Mills and Kenny Schwab, Assistant City Manager of Operations, for their hard work in getting these projects out the door. I just want to let Kenny and Alex know we want to see a lot of orange cones around the city next year. Okay. Okay, at this time, let's hear from Council Members Johnny Parks and Deborah Wimpy on their thoughts on the state of our city.
My name is Johnny Parks. I'm a city councilman at large. I've been on the council of the Planning Commission for the last 35 years. One of the things that we've really looked at through the years is making and building a quality community. So what I'm here today for is to kind of name some of the things that help us be a quality community. First thing I want to look at in the services would be in our water supply. Our water supply, when people turn the water on, they expect to have good, clean, fresh, safe water. And one of the things we want to make sure of is they have that same water. We have a new $62 million water plant to help provide that. We're getting ready to expand it to 30 million gallons a day this next year, and it is quite a science feat in itself. They actually produce their own chlorine at the water plant. Next would be the sewer. If we go up and run water down the drain or flush this toilet, we think, well, it's out of sight, so that's it, but it's not. The city receives it, and they have to clean it up and dump it back in the river cleaner than what they actually took it out of. So this next year, we'll be looking at spending $30 million on the expansion of the water plant and the sewer plant to make it so it's not, make it where it's kind of odor-free anyway. We also have a 5-year project of that $30 million of $140 million. Over 5 years, we're going to be spending on our water and sewer plant. Streets come in next. Quality community is going to have a good street program. We spend about $3 million a year on resurfacing and rebuilding our streets. We now are going to add an additional $3.2 million to that because of the citizens' passing of the Vision 2025 tax. Now we're going to be spending $6.2 million, plus we have just sold $18 million of our 2014 bond issue, which we're going to finish that project up before we start our next bond issues and finish up with the streets that the citizens wanted and we promised that we would build. Following that is sanitation. Sanitation is something that we're working on. We have a committee looking at it. Let me just say that there's going to be changes in the sanitation system. We don't know exactly yet how they will be. We do know the citizens want curbside recycling, so that definitely probably will be included. But that's been working with the city council now, and they haven't made any decisions. Keep it looking that there's going to be 2 pilot programs come out in the next few months to help the committee make that decision to bring to the council. And finally, we're going to look at our park system. We have one of the finest park systems in the state, let alone possibly the nation. What we as a council look at is that we want to provide a place for our youth and our senior citizen centers, people to able to get out and relax, jog, walk. If you play football, baseball, or if you're playing dominoes or shooting pool, we want to take care of that. This next year we're going to be looking at part of that 14 bond issue, building a new a softball field at the one of our parks here in the city of Broken Arrow. So we do strive for a quality community, and we look forward to getting inputs from the citizens.
Hi, I'm Deborah Wimpy, Broken Arrow City Councilor, coming to you from the Veterans Park on Main Street. What an exciting time it is here in Broken Arrow. One of the things I'm most passionate about and I'm excited to tell you guys about is our veterans efforts that we have put in place here in Broken Arrow. Earlier this year, we became a Purple Heart City, and we were actually one of the first ones in eastern Oklahoma. It was made possible with the collaborative efforts of the city leadership and Mitch Reed of the Purple Heart local chapter. I'm also proud to talk about a new project that we're going to be doing. It's a veterans center that's going to be the home of our VFW and possibly the American Legion. This center will be a great place for our veterans, our local veterans, to come together and meet. It'll have a food bank area, it'll have a large outdoor activity area that will be covered, and we're really excited to see how this plays out. So there's so much going on in the city, and I'm sure there's a lot of times you're wondering how you can find out all the information. If you go on our website, you'll be able to see all of our videos, city council highlights, BA in motion, press releases about things that are happening in our city, and you can find them all on our website. You can also find out about all of our city updates on our social media outlets. We have a Facebook page, YouTube account, Nextdoor, and Twitter account. So let's talk shopping local and why it's important to make sure that you do your best to shop in our city. The City of Broken Arrow's main revenue stream is sales tax revenue. That is why it's extremely important for you to always make a conscious effort of shopping locally and to make sure that you're supporting our local business owners. Our sales tax revenue goes to our public safety. Make sure that we have great roads to drive on and we have wonderful parks for our kids to play in. The majority of our citizens actually work outside of Broken Arrow, and so there's a lot of times that you may actually find yourself spending a lot of your time and money in other cities. Unfortunately, when you shop in other communities, those sales tax dollars actually go to their fire department and their police department. So when you have a need or an emergency, we're not receiving those funds. So I highly encourage you, whenever possible, to please consider to always be mindful of shopping locally in Broken Arrow. Since elected, I've had the opportunity to attend several conferences and visit many other cities. What I learned overall from those conferences and those cities is that Broken Arrow is a great place already, and we're doing some amazing things here. I'm honored to be able to represent the City of Broken Arrow. This is my hometown. I've grown up here, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for the City of Broken Arrow.
Let's give the council a round of applause for that. So what's ahead for our city in 2018? We know there's always a lot to do, and we're not going to rest on our laurels or successes. We understand that the expectations of our citizens and business are very high. Keeping up with the demands of a prosperous and growing community is not easy. However, the city has a great leadership team, and we have some incredibly and talented employees, and we will rise to meet those challenges. In addition to striving to provide great city services day to day, we endeavor to set lofty goals for our local government, and here are just a few of our top priorities over the next year or so. First, we will continue reinvesting in our aging infrastructure. We believe devoting resources to basic physical infrastructure improvements, advancing innovation opportunities, and more green investments will lead to a higher standard of living within our community. The city has approximately $150 million in water and sanitary sewer improvement projects to complete over the next 10 years. We also have another $40 million in traditional streets, sidewalk, parks, stormwater, and public safety work to complete, and that doesn't even include what we might include and get approved by the voters next summer. Now that the council has approved 2 recycling curbside pilot programs, the administration will proceed with implementation. Working with our customers, we'll implement and evaluate the 2 pilot programs. The results will be analyzed, publicized, and presented to the City Council next fall. With regard to our general obligation bond vote, we will review the results of the recent survey and begin the assessment process to select projects for voter consideration. Next summer, the City Council will ask voters to consider passage of a number of general obligation bond packages to raise funds for these projects and initiatives. We'll do this because we believe that quality of life and infrastructure are important investments. As mentioned by Councilman Lester, if approved by voters, the projects will shape our future for decades to come. As a result of the upcoming vote, we will spend a good portion of the first part of 2018 implementing a comprehensive community engagement and education program. Communications Director Krista Flash and her team will lead the way. To assist us, we've engaged local public relations extraordinaire Sheila Curley and her firm 6PR to help us with public education. We're excited to have her team on board. We're also very excited about bringing this initiative to our community. Now, something that's very important, which is basically the fuel that keeps the engine going, which is economic development. We're not going to stop on the successes that we've had so far this year and in years past. As mentioned, the city is currently experiencing tremendous growth, and we are poised for even more. In addition to day-to-day activities, here are some important endeavors for the next year or two. Working in concert with property owners, we will complete a comprehensive study on the options available to revitalize the commercial quarters of 101st and Elm Place. We will award a contract for consulting services necessary to formalize a plan for a new innovation district in our city. 72% of the people that responded to the survey say that they are supportive of this endeavor. Innovation districts are emerging all over the country where research facilities, education institutions, and close-knit networks of entrepreneurs work together to capitalize on commercialization. In Broken Arrow, we want to lead the way and lead in the state and in the region by creating more high-paying quality jobs, not only for our city, but for the region as well. An important multi-year effort that we will undertake next year is reviewing and updating our comprehensive master plan. This effort is going to be led by Development Service Director Michael Skates and Farhad Daroga. Our comprehensive plan is an important tool we use for planning our future growth. The plan will also address constant changes in the evolution of land management and infrastructure needs of our city. A few other things that we will also look at. First off, we will aggressively continue to market and to try to attract development in the south part of our city. Those residents deserve that, and the area is primed for success. I also want to have a quick note that next year is going to be an important year because we're asking voters to become more aware of our Creative Arts Center. I'd like to bring this awareness to you today because we have an opportunity to bring this awesome facility to our downtown, and in order to try to secure operation funds, we've enlisted the help of Mark Fry to secure these funds. Mark's here today and available to answer any questions about the proposed facility, which actually could be a game changer for our city. And the final area that is very important to me and to the council and to the chamber is public advocacy. We will continue to work with our partners on local, state, regional, and federal matters. This year, city officials were in Oklahoma City more times than I can count. We also traveled to Washington, D.C. at least 3 times. Plus, we attended regional initiatives in Dallas, Texas, and Charlotte, North Carolina. We must continue to work to influence political, economic, social, and institutional decisions that affect our community and organizations. We also believe that accountability is very important. To help us do that at the state level, the city and the chamber have contracted with Lisa Smalago to help us with state legislative and agency issues, and I sincerely appreciate on my half and Wes's half for the efforts that she puts forth for us each and every day. I'd also like to thank Mike Cooper with AT&T for his assistance in coordinating advocacy, it's a tough word to say twice, with our federal delegation. We're doing some great things, folks. We're out there trying to represent the community's interests because it's very, very important. In closing, I know all of you have demands on your time, and we appreciate you taking time to be here with us today. Again, a special thanks to all of our invaluable community partners, elected officials, and to all the members of the Broken Arrow Chamber of Commerce. With all of us working together, I believe that we will continue to make Broken Arrow a special place for all. I'm both humbled and honored to serve as your city manager, and I look forward to helping lead our community forward in the future. I'll close by saying that I want to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas, a prosperous and happy and joyful 2018. Thank you.